Okay, so I couldn't find any videos on I found plenty on how to take the battery out of the fob for a 2019 to 2022 Ram Key. I think they're all pretty much the same. This is a 2500. I know some of them have some different, silver stuff on some of these pieces here, on some of the fancier ones. You can see mine's just a pretty simple 3-button with the panic, the unlock and lock. The reason that I need to take it apart is I'm going to put a micro switch in here where the tailgate release button would be, which is actually here. It's already there. There's just not a switch in the remote to make it work. So I tested that by taking it apart and hit the connections, and the tailgate release works. You got to hit it twice and it comes. Since it's already there, I have the tailgate shock on it, or whatever you call it, damper on there, so the tailgate just doesn't fall down already. So no big deal. I just needed the micro switch. I was being kind of lazy and didn't want to wait for Amazon to deliver one. So what I did was I took the panic micro switch and I just moved it up here, which I'll show you when I get in there. I'm not going to do that part of the video. There's plenty of videos on there on how to do the soldering and stuff like that. I'm not an expert solderer, although I made it work. I've done a decent amount for some different stuff, but I didn't want to show that piece. I just wanted to show how to take this remote apart, because it is a little tricky, I would say, and can be a little scary when you're afraid you're going to break some stuff. So I'm going to take it back. Why I need to take it back apart and why I decided to do the video is you can see how I didn't take enough of the rubber off of there, so you can see that there's a little hump in there, and I don't want to release my trunk when my key's in my pocket by accident, or tailgate I should say. So first thing I'm going to do is pretty simple, right? Take the key out, no big deal there. You can see here this would be if you're taking the battery off. There's kind of two spots right here. I'm going to take a screwdriver, just a flathead, going to get in there and pop both sides. You see it just kind of pop out. Pretty simple, right? Nothing crazy there. And just yank on it. Don't worry, it's not going to break. So we've got that there. The next piece that we need to get to are these. I'm going to pull the battery out so that way I don't set anything off while I'm doing it. You can see the side pieces here, these little panels pop off. Those need to come off next. And again, I'm pulling on the back side here, you can see that, and then kind of rolling it out. You can see there's a little notch, if you can see there, so it kind of pushes up. These are left and right oriented, okay? And the R and it says like R1 on there. And then this one says, it's hard to see, you can see the L2, right? But the L left is when you're looking at the remote from the top, not the bottom when you're taking it off. So when you're putting it back together, just remember that, okay? Pretty simple here. The next part was, this can be a little difficult. You got a couple of tabs right here, and then you got a couple here, right here. But in order for that to happen first, we need to get this front plate off. And this one was, I started to mess mine up a little bit, and I was getting a little worried that I was going to break it. But you had to be a little forceful there, and just kind of popping that piece back and out, as you can see, right? It just kind of pops out that way. You can see there's a few, it's kind of hard to see, but there's a few places where it grabs on the side, and then this front piece, just roll it off, get in there, be careful. I started to kind of damage the silicone here on mine a little bit. It did just kind of go back into place though when I did it. Just be careful, it just wants to pop and roll off that way, okay? And now that you've got that off, there is no other clips necessarily up here. It's just, you got to get these 4 side ones off, and then just peel it around and get it going. Try to, I had a few spots. I found if I got these kind of started right on each side here. Kind of hard to see with my big fingers in the way. There's a little groove to grab in here and grab in here, not so much in here. But once you kind of get them started, it's not too bad. Just be careful with these tabs. They seem to be relatively easy to break. I did use kind of got one popped up and then got another screwdriver, right? Got in there and got the next one up so I could get them to release a little bit, right? That's the trick. Don't do that. Don't go too far up. Got it kind of wedged there. I want to work my way on the front here just to get it to add some pressure a little bit on this, right? So that way it doesn't want to just pop back on that other side. I'm going to flip it around, do the same thing on these two. I got this kind of wonky flathead that I trailed out or shaved down for another project. Come on, baby. Okay, we got those released. So, we'll grab another screwdriver here. See how we kind of got it started now, right? Let's try to get in here. You can see these just pop here. These are not, and I'm just kind of turning that screwdriver in there, right? And just getting it to pop out. Once you get it started, it's relatively easy to pull it apart. Just take your time and then pop, and it just kind of the back slides a little bit on it. Sorry, I moved the camera a little bit there. But you can see, and then obviously your board's sitting in here, which popped out on me, which is fine, because I'm taking it out anyway. Batteries on that inside, right? There is a little piece. Just be careful that when taking this out of here, it fits in there pretty tight. You can see where that micro switch was right here that I had. The one for the trunk releases or tailgate releases here. This would be a micro switch for remote start. I believe if you're going to do the remote start, I'm still trying to kind of learn some stuff here on the forums, but if you do the remote start, it's not as easy as just pushing the button, right, twice to get it to remote start. You do have to enable that, and I know if you get an OBD reader and can get your PIN number and get into the system, you can turn it on, and that's all you need to do is turn it on the computer and then add the micro switch and you'll have the remote start. But there's plenty of threads on that, and again, I'm not an expert on that. But for mine, I unsoldered the micro switch here and just resoldered it up here. You could order a micro switch on Amazon. There's a few links if you search out there. Some people will have them, but it works for me, and that's it. The only other thing that I had to do, you can see where it was a little. That's where my panic one was, right? Obviously, I don't have any little fancy colored thing. I think you can order just the rubber pieces here, which I may do eventually, but for the time being, you can see how that piece is cut out, right, for the panic button, and you noticed how mine was kind of pushed up on it, right? And the reason it was pushed up on it is because, like an idiot, when I went to trim it, I was looking at it as it goes here, not when it's flipped here, right? I was doing it when it was here. So I actually need to trim this side, which is kind of funny. Just pretty simple, just kind of rolled it back. Got a pretty ugly little electrical knife. Pretty simple. Just took off some of that rubber. Somebody said you don't have to trim a whole bunch. I was trying to get it just somewhat as level as that one, because I don't want it to push if it's in my pocket, although I don't wear no skinny jeans, so that's fine. But I've heard some people saying that it goes off in their pocket, and then the tailgate release happens. And then it hits a pole, or you parked in the mall or somewhere in a parking garage, and they got a knock over my camera, and they got concrete wall, and then they hit that tailgate release, and bam, there it is, goes right into there, right into the wall. Again, with that strut on there, it shouldn't hit that bad, but it could definitely still do some scratching. So that's it. I won't show you how to put it back together. It's pretty much the reverse process, but hopefully that's helpful to some people out there. I know I couldn't find anything. I was a little worried about breaking it. At least I had 2 fobs. I'm like, screw it. I'll experiment. And then when I put it back together and I had trimmed the wrong side, I said, what the hell, might as well show a video on how to take this damn thing back apart. So there you go, guys. Hopefully that helps.